Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
What are you doing here? You have a greenhouse project?
Yeah, we have a greenhouse project.
Let's take a look.
Come on in. We'll walk around.
Okay, so I'm Luis. I'm not at the London Food Bank today. I'm in the Agriplex with Mystery. So, Mystery, can you introduce yourself and tell us the story of what's going on in here?
Hello, everybody. My name is Mystery, and I'm the founder of Type Diabeat It. I'm here with the amazing Luis at the Agriplex. We're going to be talking about our greenhouse. But I think it's important for everyone that's going to hear this story to learn how we started. Okay, we actually started with 4 rows at the food bank. Yep, 4 rows at the food bank. And how did we come about that row? There was a grant that we wanted to apply for about what, 3 years ago, Luis? It's been a long time. It's been about 3 years, and we wanted to apply for this grant because we wanted to start to support the BPOC community with ethnic produce. Okay, we realized that diabetes is an issue for all Canadians. 1 in 3 in the statistics. When we talk about racialized and marginalized communities, those numbers are significantly higher. We're looking at a gap of 8.4% to 4.1% for Caucasians. So we wanted to be more proactive in the community, and we looked at food. Type 2 diabetes is very much able to be prevented and better managed if we look at our food, what we're eating. And a lot of us in the community are detached. We migrate to a new country. Our food's been influenced by slavery and westernization. So a lot of us people of color are so detached from what our cultural eating really is. So I wanted to really take up space and educate and re-educate on the health practices within our community. So I had a friend, her name is Jenna. She posted on Facebook. Michelle Baldwin saw the post and she contacted Glenn, who then called me.
Oh, that's how it
Yep,
was.
I never told the actual linkages, but that is actually how it
Oh,
happened. And
okay.
Glenn gave me a call and he said, "We want to work with you. We love what you're doing. We love what you're about. You can start at the food bank." So we got 4 rows, and we got the amazing support of Louise and of course the food bank, and we transformed those 4 rows in a day. Do you remember?
That was so fun. You came with the kids.
Yes.
Uh, with Gonzalo, you were there. It took a week and you were done, completely done.
No,
Like
we
a
wrapped
super
up in
nice row there.
honestly, it probably took us 2 half days because at the time we didn't have a key. We were waiting for like the workers, so we worked like half day for 2 days, and we were done.
We got a lot of people.
We had a lot of people. We had kids, we had adults, we had youths, and we worked overtime.
Oh, that was an amazing one. I do remember you put your table there, you bring
Yes.
some food, you bring some lemongrass water. That was amazing. Now I do take a lemongrass water because thanks to you now.
So we're actually growing lemongrass inside. Lemongrass is a very nutritious plant that you can make into tea. And it's good for diabetics, it's good for overall health, immune boosting, it's good for your gastric intestinal weight loss as well. It's a very healthy, it's popular in the Caribbean. It's known as jungle fever.
Jungle.
So there's also some sexual connotations in the Caribbean, as do a lot of, I want to say, health plants do, but it's just lemongrass, and it's because it has all these very healthy properties. So with that 4 rows at the food bank, we were able to support 80 families with food boxes.
Wow.
We had 30 directly coming to the land. And if you remember, Luis, you helped us to do the 5-gallon bags of plants. And we gave that to 50 people in the community who couldn't come out. And we also did it in English and Spanish. You created the resource. So we gave out about 6 plants in a 5-gallon bag that were meant to rejuvenate. So we did cilantro, hot peppers, eggplants, and you were the guy behind that, and we were able to support 50 families within the community, mostly from the African community and the Latin community. And we did English and Spanish.
I love those planters. Like it was so fun to do, and the kids they have a blast doing them. Like later, I do remember like everybody with their hands all dirty, and yeah, no, and we make it look so easy.
We make it look so easy, but it takes a lot of work. So the public gets to see the beautiful pictures, dirty hands, and smile. But it is a labor of love, right?
Absolutely.
So from our roles, we wanted to expand our reach in the community, right? Toronto just posted a Black Food Sovereignty Plan, and
Oh,
it talks about the percentage of Black families who live in food insecure homes, and we're about 30%. So what we want to do is that we wanted to grow from the growing in the row to actual greenhouse. So we participated in what is called the London Neighborhood Decision Making.
okay.
We spoke with Glenn, and he was able to help us to get a greenhouse. He involved the London Rotary South, and we actually went to the city and we proposed our idea. So we published our idea in Central. We actually worked with the Western Fair. We spoke with Dan. Dan was able to agree to having us use the plot of land. Obviously, his superiors were involved in the planning. So we were able to go to the city and say, we have the food bank support, we have the Western Fair for this space. Can we post our idea? It was a rocky process, but we persevered to the end, and our idea was posted for Central.
And I must say that that's the difficult part when you have to do these hoops and ask for funding and try to fund it. Uh, what I'm saying is like being a partner with the London Food Bank really opens doors because
Yes.
they are linked into this, and I'm pretty sure they show you a little bit what where to go or
So the London Food Bank has been our mentor since we started gardening, not only with human resources but also with advice. And they're very respectable in the city for the great work. So partnering with the London Food Bank has opened a lot of doors for us, and it's given us credibility. So I think some of the issues with posting your idea is that the city, they don't work on the ground,
okay.
right? They don't know, or they don't really see. They just read what you submit. So that would be hard for anybody just reading a paper and trying to figure out if it's legitimate, what's the impact, right? So I think aligning yourself to community partners. Type Diabeat It is very good at forming linkages. We work with the community. And the London community has been amazing to us that we've been able to form partnership with Luso, Boys and Girls Club, London Inter-Community Health Center. We're now working with Northwest Resort Center. Yes, we are very active in the community churches. We partner with RCCG Church, and we just believe in promoting community. So we had to rally voters so that people can vote for our idea.
Oh, that's what it is too.
Yes,
Okay,
because
okay.
the neighborhood decision making is a voting process. So you
Oh,
have
look
to
at
get
that.
the community involved. So I want to thank everyone in Central London who voted for us. And I also want to thank Western University. We were a part of their experiential learning, and they sent us a bus of students, and we gave those students flyers, and those students went house to house giving out flyers to rally voters.
Oh, this is amazing.
There's a lot of story that we haven't actually told. So I'm
Oh,
really glad for this opportunity to share our story, because people don't know all the back end hassle that has gone through for us to get here. So they help us to rally votes. The food bank also helped us to rally votes because I had asked them to circulate in their networks. I sent emails. We worked very, very hard. And we placed second. So we were able to yes, we placed second in Central, and I was nervous because Central had over 20 ideas that were posted, probably more. Central had the most numbers of ideas posted.
ooh, do you know how much was the fund available for that?
So they divided into 50,000 per region, like per is it per region, like north, central, east, west. I'm not good with the geography, sorry.
Oh, it's not much money for so many groups doing.
Exactly. So when you saw Central and all the ideas, I wasn't sure if we were gonna win. I was very nervous. So I wanted to post in the east side, but we didn't find a space in the east. So we got space in Central. So I was like, well,
Okay.
let's compete. So we posted our idea and we placed second. We got $20,000 towards the setup of our greenhouse.
Look at that. That's
It
amazing.
is amazing.
So that's the story that I want to tell because
Yes.
the story that I always hear is like no, there is no funds available for doing agriculture in the city.
So
You
there,
are the other story.
we have the other, and that's why I said I do not want to undervalue other people's experiences, but our experience has been significantly different, and we've been able to tap into resources, and we've been able to be successful, as you can see. And I think it's hard with voting, but if people see your passion, your heart, your dedication, they're gonna rally behind you. And I think London is really good to support initiatives when they see the impact and when they see the passion behind the group of people. And something very impactful that Glenn told me was a lot of times in equity work, the passion can die down. And he challenged me and he said, you just have to prove that it's more than just, a flair. You gotta prove that you're in it for the long run. You gotta keep doing the work even if nobody's looking.
And you right now, I hear 4 years later, like
4 years, and Jane said the same thing. Don't give up. Do the work. Do the work. It's gonna happen. She gave me their story. It took them over 10 years to get a space, right? So they motivated me. She's like, don't give up. It doesn't matter if everyone closed the door on you. Keep doing the work. It's gonna work out.
so. The work, if you can put it for me, like in the amount of hours that you have to put a weekly. This is a work that you don't get paid.
Yes, so I've been volunteering and volunteering my partner who's in the background going, me. So
60 hours a week. And let me answer that question, okay? Between me and her, we put 60 hours a week each. Okay, we work non-stop. Sometimes she works until 5:30 in the morning. I try to stay up with her. It is more than a full-time job.
Labor of love. There you
it is a
go.
labor of love, and we didn't get any compensation for it. But this year is the first year that I'm actually receiving compensation like a salary.
Congratulations.
And I'm not able to go any further as yet, but stay tuned to our social media channels and you're going to see when we're able to post that information. Right? We did also receive a funding for some part-time salaries from Foundation for Black Communities as well. So I do want to acknowledge them. We were one of the recipients of the Youth Wellness Fund, and that went to help run a youth programs that are going to happen on site and also cover, like not a full salary, I want to say, but also support financially so that we're able to pay more people in the community so that we're able to, really get the work going.
Oh, that's amazing because that's what happened. Like you can have a strong volunteer base like the London Food Bank has,
Yes.
but if you're doing the management part of the work and you're doing it by just as a volunteer, that can really burn you out. Like if you
Yes.
do it for more than a year, I'm going to say like, wow, thank you very much for all your hard work.
And that is what Jane advised me as well. She said, securing volunteers can be hard. And she pushed me to go out and lobby for more money for salary. Because what we receive from Foundation for Black Communities, we're very appreciative. But if you look at it on actual sustaining an employer, it's a small number. So Jane really pushed us and said, use that, leverage that support and wait until you can get a full salary so you can retain, quality people because volunteers can only do so much.
Yeah.
And they do get burnt out, right?
Yeah.
So I want to say that we've received high quality advice in our work to be able to not get burnt out ourselves and also be able to encourage and inspire volunteers in our community.
That's amazing. Well, this story, it always feel like, well, the problem in the background is super big. The racial issue is something that came here into what nutrition really,
Yes.
like really, is another way to show a difference between us.
Yes.
Like even like, come on, like we are all the same, but really, you know what? At the end, we don't get in our belly the same belly like everybody.
Yes.
Some people do take sugar in a different way,
Yes.
and it goes to your bloodstream in a different way.
Yes. So culture is a social determinant of health. Okay? Culture needs to be more actively assessed. So we think about culture at the work. We think about culture at immigration. We think about culture in all different sectors, but we don't really always talk about culture and health. And your culture kind of sets the pace for how you perceive yourself as healthy or not healthy. So when you look at people of color and the relationship between African, Caribbean, and the Latin community and nutrition and diabetes, the numbers are high. And it talks to the food that we're eating. And that is because we have a severe disconnect. So for instance, if you're a diabetic or you're pre-diabetic, you go to your doctor, right? They're going to tell you, here's a paper, go home and eat this food, right? You look at the paper and you go, I don't eat this. What are you going to do? You throw the paper away, right? So we have very poor very poor compliance because we don't relate to the material.
Correct.
But if we have support in the community saying, okay, instead of eating 4 tortillas de maíz,
Okay,
right?
I love it.
Let's maybe have 2.
Okay,
Okay,
no, I
2 in
want.
a day, right? Instead of maybe always frying the plantains.
Oh, okay, okay,
Plantains
okay, okay.
is a food that we share across community.
Correct.
South America, Central America, in Africa, plantain is a very common staple that we all enjoy. Boiled, fried, baked. So maybe instead of consuming as much rice, we can pivot to having more plantains or green bananas because the green bananas has a resistant starch. So the green banana, will not affect your blood sugar. So we promote recipes that are $20 or less, and it can feed the whole family.
Okay.
And one of our recipes is actually a green banana salad. So it's the regular bananas that go ripe. One is ripe, it has more sugar. So you have to buy green, and you can use it as potatoes. It's a better potato, right? So cultural competence looks like also we're growing some zucchini and some spaghetti squash, okay? If you add curry to the spaghetti squash,
Yum.
that's culture because many of us have curry in our pantry, right? And curry is a spice that's also Middle Eastern, that's also Caribbean, that's also Latin, right? We all use curry. Another perfect example is okra. I found out we had a group of volunteers from Luso, and one of the volunteers, or one of the social media manager, she's Middle Eastern. She told me that okra is a staple in their culture as well. So as you can see, food is so universal. And it's important that we grow ethnic produce to target other groups because not all of us relate to the Canadian food guide.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and what about when you go here, like, to the convenience store? Like, back home, I'm from Chile, the convenience store is a different thing. The
Yes.
convenience store back home is vegetables. Here, the convenience store is, fruits, vegetables. Here you go to the convenience store and everything is ultra processed. But you know what? It costs $1 for a bag of chips.
So I've had that conversation as well, whereby we look at the financial aspect that is actually cheaper to buy unhealthy food. And I don't like to use the word unhealthy or healthy because it makes you think expensive, right? So
Okay.
we're gonna say processed food, maybe food that are not as beneficial for your body. And we want to change the narrative. Healthy is not expensive. Okay? We feel that way. Why? When you go to your family doctor, they tell you to do what? Middle Eastern diet, Greek diet. They never tell you cultural diet, an African diet, a Caribbean, or a Latin, right? You never hear that. You always get every other country,
True.
and then they promote expensive vegetables that you may not know how to cook. But for instance, you can buy produce that are not as expensive that you can cook at home. So like we make our recipes under $20.
Okay, nice.
You can buy Swiss chard. You can buy kalaloo. You can buy collard greens. You can buy what's another green? Spinach. It's not too
Spinach.
expensive. You can add spinach to your stew. You can add spinach to a stir fry, right? So we need to be able to change how we think about food. And the city has a Harvest Bucks program. And I think the Harvest Bucks program is to support families that do access convenience stores so that they can be able to find resources in the community that has cultural produce. So I know in the city, there's not very many organizations that are growing ethnic produce. So that is the reason why we plan to expand our current greenhouse so that we can more support other organizations who are already doing the work and just come in and say, hey, here's some okras, okay? Here is some African eggplant. Here is some kalaloo, right? Because we're growing all these things. So how can we grow more food to support the initiatives already happening in the city, right? But look at it from a cultural perspective so that people that look like me will actually go to access these services. Because we have great services, but access is not equity. A lot of us in the community are not accessing these services. So we want to get involved to ensure that our community is accessing food services and health services. And that's when we work with London Inter-Community Health Center with their diabetes nurse and their nutritionist so that we can help to filter those in our community to access diabetes services in the community. And those that can will be able to because we have our own kitchen. Or we will have our own kitchen.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, as soon as you can process your product, you're in a different level.
Yes.
Okay, when you're producing, that's the start of stuff. But when you are able to make any process out of it, the sky is the limit. The
It
sky
is.
is really the limit.
It is.
And I do know this kind of greenhouse. I have one of those behind my big greenhouse, but the door.
Yes. So
Wow, that's amazing.
again, because we work with the community, we got a contractor. His name is Adrian. I don't remember the name of his contractor company right now, but he's also a businessman in the black community. His company is called, his business is called Paranide. So big up Paranide. But he's also a contractor, so multifaceted human being. And he was the one that helped us to construct our greenhouse, and they built a door. And our door can actually lock.
It looks so nice.
Yeah, so they, we got the greenhouse from the food bank. So thank you to the food bank again. And the design is all that. So we have nicer straps to keep it sturdy. He built the base. These bases
Are we
digged-
going in?
the frame is digged into the ground, so we're very, very sturdy. But yeah, come on in.
Oh, this is the part. Oh, the calaloos.
Yes.
Oh.
So this is Kalaloo is a part of the Amaranth family. This is a red variation that is more used in tricolor. It is more popular, I want to say, in countries like St. Kitts and the Grenadines, I think Bermuda. What's more common is the green variation. We managed to get some seeds, and we're setting the green variation Kalaloo, which is more popular in Africa and as well as the rest of the Caribbean. And we have our seedlings growing right in here. So we're gonna have two versions of the Kalaloo.
Well,
And the Kalaloo is also consumed in Latin America. I just don't remember the name right now, but I had Gonzalo do some research, and when he looked it up, he was like, I know this. We eat this. And I was like, you see, there's so much relationship with food.
I haven't been able to find the green one variety, so now you have to share with us.
I promise you I will show you. That's why I'm setting here and I'm setting in this bucket so I can have enough to share.
So how long have you been here? This is too nice. Look at how big everything is.
To be honest, time flies so fast, I don't know.
Okay. So,
We've been working, sometimes we're here at 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes I'm going to bed at 5:30 trying to write grants.
oh, I hear you. I hear you. I do the same.
I don't even know how long it's been.
Oh, but you know what? That's the problem. It's such a hard work, but I guess that's the only problem. But if you keep it going, like you guys did, this is the result. Where do you get this idea of these kind of containers?
Yes.
Those are nice.
So we have a volunteer. His name is Trust, and he is a greenhouse specialist. He worked in Leamington with mass industrial harvesting and production. He studied agriculture, so he knows to optimize the yield. And he was the one that gave us the idea to grow in these buckets. And we have an automated irrigation system so that we can, because as you can see, we only have a very small space this year. So for us to optimize our space, this was a better idea for us to grow in buckets. So we have okras here that are setting.
Look at the little
These are
guys.
the little guys that are coming in. We have these are Swiss chard. also a very good alternative to mainstream vegetables that can be used. We actually created a toolkit, and I think I have the toolkit on me that I can actually show and talk about. So, oh, I have seeds falling from everywhere. See?
I
So we have this toolkit that was created with Brusha College. We had a group of nutrition students work with us, and in here has all the Afrocentric produce that we're growing, nutritional value, and actually how to grow them.
oh, that's a beautiful
So
resource.
we
Look at
have the
that.
collard greens, the benefits, and actually how to grow them. And we have about probably like 20. We have a lot of hot peppers, cilantro. We have kalaloo, of course, tomatoes, yam. So almost everything that's in here is already in this greenhouse, except for yam. And we haven't got collard greens as yet.
Okay, okay.
But
I want to see the
everything else-
jams.
I,
It's
That would be
one-year
nice.
project.
It's coming.
but it's a 1 year project.
Really?
So we
Oh.
have our lemongrass at the back. I don't know if you can see our.
Oh yes, I can see the
sky.
leaves there.
Whenever we have groups, we're gonna be making them tea on site. I'm gonna bring a kettle. I'm gonna be making them tea. We have an African eggplant that was given to us by the food bank. By the growing chefs.
Look at the size of that leaf. Come
Yes.
on.
And you can actually eat the leaves.
No
and
way.
we're doing some research on recipes that are affordable
Yum.
and where to source them outside of our greenhouse so that families can get all the iron and nutritional benefits from the leaves.
So, wow, this is amazing. And I'm looking around. You have a controller here. What are you controlling here?
So this is going to be set up via Bluetooth.
Oh,
And this is to control humidity, to help with the irrigation system. We also have our temperature. We also have our temperature sensor inside and out. So we're just waiting for an adapter, but someone stole my packaging.
no, come
From-
on, really?
From my house when it was delivered, yeah.
Pirate?
So this is to
Porch
do
pirate?
everything via Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's the way, because if you're here, that's everything all right, but when you go home at night and something happened, like, that's the way to go.
And I want to talk about this plant that I got from you as well,
Okay.
Luis. This is the stevia plant. And
Oh,
it's very
sweet.
interesting because diabetics are recommended to have stevia for sugar. And I always have, whenever I have groups come in, I have them try this plant. And they get so surprised the stevia sugar comes from a plant. And if you eat this,
It's-
it has very sweet, almost like giving you a headache,
Yeah.
right? And that's the reason why I always advise people, if you don't have diabetes, you don't have to necessarily switch to stevia sugar, right? You can actually consume regular sugar because your body is not going to go, oh, I had stevia or organic. It's just going to go, I had sugar,
Yeah.
right? It cannot differentiate between honey, brown, or white. So the important thing is that the stevia is a higher concentration, but it reacts differently in your body for those who have issues, type 2, with processing glucose. So I think this plant is very beneficial and one of my cool finds because when you eat it, it's very sweet.
It's amazing, like, actually, to the mind, you feel it like it's more sweet than sugar.
Yes, it is so sweet.
Apple.
This is our second harvest of lettuce. Our first harvest of lettuce already went into the Bully area. So we took our first harvest to the Bully and we gave out about, I don't even know, I should have counted, but we gave out about maybe 20 bags of lettuce.
Nice.
To the kids in the area. These are almost ready to be harvested. So we're going to be harvesting. We have bell peppers, tomatoes, hot peppers, mint. We have nice kale. We're going to have our Swiss chard that are going to be popping out of here. And some zucchinis that we're ready for transplant.
Mystery, what an amazing job. And you too, Gonzalo, like it's not so bad, but it's mystery. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for this little tour. And you know what?